Good morning children. Welcome back to this beautiful platform of Anand Prakash Educational Academy. I am Chanda Bansal, Director of Anand Prakash Educational Academy, and we are here to help you out with our video lectures so that your examination becomes very simple for you. You are able to understand each and everything, and chemistry is no longer difficult for you. As we discussed in the previous lectures that to understand the chemistry of 10th class, a very basic thing is you need to know how to write the formulas. The more you easily write the formulas, the more easily you are able to understand about the radicals, about the valencies, faster you will grasp this topic and you will start understanding each and everything very nicely. So, believe me, give it a thorough practice of writing the formulas, make it a point that at least you are writing 20 to 25 formulas daily till you are very thorough with that. Even when you are sleeping and somebody asks you what is the formula of cupric phosphide, you should be able to tell even when you are sleeping. If this condition arises, means you have really done chemistry very nicely. And you know, this is such a wonderful subject, it is such an easy and interesting subject, and plus it is very scoring. Whether you are aspiring for giving JEE exam or you are aspiring to give NEET exam, any exam, chemistry is the most scoring of all the subjects, and when you are able to build your confidence in this subject, nothing can stop you from getting your dreams come true. So, let us now start with the topic like we were doing about the chemical reactions. Chemical reactions may we have done number of reactions. The way they tell you that reaction does take place, how will you say that this particular reaction you have mixed some two components, and how will you say that something has happened in that test tube? So, to know that we did certain steps like there will be some change in the color, there will be some gas evolution, there will be some change in the physical state, there will be some formation of heavy precipitate, isn't it? So, these things they give an idea that reaction has taken place. You need to remember the precipitate color, the precipitate formula, how to write that reaction. Like you can be given the question that write two examples to show the color change in a reaction has taken place. So, you need to write those. So, keep on practicing. Abhi, you are at home, stay safe at home and study well, enjoy all the lectures and keep on practicing. That makes it very simple. So, now the next step, after knowing that reaction has taken place, after knowing about writing the formulas, the next important thing that you need to do here is how can you make a chemical reaction very informative. Like the moment you see the reaction, you should be able to say that this is having a solid state, this is having a liquid state, a solid component, a liquid component, and then aqueous. Aqueous means the solution is prepared in water. Then it is about evolution of gas. If there is evolution of gas, you have to write an arrow in this way. If there is formation of a precipitate, you have to put an arrow in this form. If it is an exothermic reaction, you are aware that there are two types of the reactions. One is exothermic reaction, another is endothermic reaction. How will you indicate about exothermic reaction? Exothermic reaction may always heat is liberated on the product side. So, there that will indicate exothermic. So, you will be writing plus heat for exothermic reaction. When reactants absorb heat, means it will be an endothermic reaction, and endothermic reaction will be represented in this way that heat will be written along with the reactants. So, that is about exothermic, endothermic, then solid, then liquid, then gas, precipitate, aqueous solution. So, these are the things which will make the chemical reaction very, very informative. Now, let us see how do you write, how do you represent that reaction. Zinc, you know that zinc is in the solid form. So, simply you have to represent that it is the solid. Sulfuric acid, usually its aqueous solution is taken. So, AQ will be written for the aqueous solution. So, now what it is forming? Zinc sulfate, that is also in the aqueous solution form, and hydrogen gas. Hydrogen is a gas and you can represent it in this form, that is gas, means either you write it as G or you can write it as an up arrow. Here already G is written, so this arrow is not required. Either of the two things can be used as a symbol. Now, here it is calcium hydroxide. You have to be careful about the formulas. Calcium hydroxide, it is in the aqueous state. It combines with carbon dioxide, which is gas. Here you will not represent by an up arrow, that is when the gas is evolved. So, there you have to represent. So, this is carbon dioxide. The two combine and they result in the formation of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is in the solid form. Along with that water, water you will write it as liquid as its state represents. If you are preparing a solution in water, then it is AQ, aqueous, otherwise you will represent it as liquid. Similarly, for the third one, carbon is in the solid form, it combines with oxygen which is in the gaseous form, it results in the formation of carbon dioxide, again gas, and this is an exothermic reaction, so it is showing the heat production. So, that is exothermic. Similarly, here methane, it is in the gaseous form, it combines with oxygen which is also in the gaseous form, it results in the formation of carbon dioxide as well as water. Here, because water is along with the production of heat, so water is in the form of vapor. So, you will not write water as liquid, it will be mentioned when the reaction is given to you. So, water in the exothermic case, it will be in the form of vapors. So, that is why here it is showing gaseous state. So, G will be written, along with that heat is liberated. Another reaction, it is glucose in its aqueous solution form and it is combining with oxygen, forms carbon dioxide and water, and along with that it is liberating energy, means again it is an exothermic reaction. This is the reaction which takes place during respiration in our body. Glucose, which is formed by the various processes, it combines with oxygen which we get from respiration, and then it produces carbon dioxide, water, and that is how we get energy to do work. So, that energy is represented over here. Then it is N2 plus O2, it is an endothermic reaction. So, heat will be written on the left side, on the reactant side itself. Both of them, they are in the gaseous phase. So, it results in the formation of NO, that is nitric oxide, which is also there in the gaseous phase. So, no specific change, the same way we are showing the representations. Then it is calcium carbonate, you know it is marble, it is in the solid form, plus heat is written. You can write this heat here above the arrow in the form of triangle also. When you want to represent that heat, you can represent it in this way also. So, calcium carbonate plus heat, it undergoes a decomposition reaction and it results in the formation of calcium oxide, which is again it is called as a lime and it is in the solid form. Along with that, it produces carbon dioxide. Likewise, there is potassium chlorate. Chlorate means its valency is -1, potassium its valency is +1. So, the formula becomes KClO3 and this is there in the solid. Now, what else can you represent to make the chemical reaction very informative, and that is you can put an arrow, it is heated. So, in place of writing here plus heat, you can write it as a triangle above the arrow. Then there is a catalyst. To make the reactants combine, some catalyst is needed. So, that catalyst can be written above the arrow or below the arrow, and that is here in this reaction it is manganese dioxide. So, that you will write. And how does it decompose? Decompose means a single compound, it breaks up to form two or more simpler products on heating. So, here that compound is KCl, which is again in the solid form, and along with that it produces oxygen in the gaseous form. Likewise, CO, carbon monoxide, is in the gaseous form, it combines with hydrogen again in the gaseous form. So, you have to write G. Now, there are various conditions. If suppose a reaction takes place, and a very important thing is you have to mention the temperature, because that reaction has got a specific temperature at which it can occur, otherwise the product formation will not be there. So, there above the arrow or below the arrow you need to mention the temperature, you need to mention the pressure, you need to mention the catalyst also. So, the same thing for this reaction is there, that is CO plus H2, when it combines, the pressure has to be 300 atmosphere, the temperature has to be 300 degrees Celsius, and the catalyst which is helping in accelerating the reaction, which is helping the reactants to combine very fast and form the products, that is zinc oxide and chromium oxide. So, all these conditions you need to remember. This reaction is there in 11th class, there you need to remember all the conditions. Here this is just to signify that what all things you can add to make the chemical reaction more informative. So, this is a bit different reaction, it is forming methanol here, and methanol is in the liquid state. That is how you can represent it. Then next reaction, again carbon dioxide and water, it is a photosynthetic process, the reaction which takes place in the plants. So, carbon dioxide and water, carbon dioxide is in the gaseous form, water liquid form. What is the condition which is required for them? It requires sunlight, you know photosynthesis takes place in sunlight, as well as it requires chlorophyll, because the entire phenomena takes place in chloroplast. So, here sunlight as well as chlorophyll is required. It results in the formation of glucose, which is there in the aqueous solution form, and along with that it produces oxygen. You all know photosynthetic process causes the evolution of oxygen. So, you have to show that. Similarly, if it is copper sulphate, it will be mentioned that copper sulphate solution is there. So, its aqueous solution is taken. So, AQ is mentioned, sodium hydroxide, again AQ, that is indicating that aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide is taken. Both of them, they are combined and they result in the formation of the product, which you can easily write from here, that is positive part of the reactant here, negative here, positive and negative here, they are combining to result in the formation of cupric hydroxide, and cupric hydroxide is in the solid form. Along with that it forms sodium sulphate, which is in the aqueous form. So, this is how you have to keep on practicing, and if you can remember all the 11 reactions of this plus the reactions that we have been doing to know the conditions for reaction to take place, then you will have quite lot of reactions in your mind and you won't face any problems in writing the examples when it is asked in the exam. So, 10th, it is very easy, children. Just keep on obeying, maintain all the disciplinary rules, keep on practicing the reactions. It is all full of reactions. So, develop that mastery over the reactions, and that is all you need to do. So, like the channel as well as the subscribe it, and again in the next video lecture we are going to do many good things. So, be with me and enjoy all the lectures. Thank you so much.